IG CSE Physics Paper Code 0625 Paper 1 Variant 1 May-June 2018, and today we are going to solve question number 21 to question number 40. Question number 21. A liquid is heated and it expands. How does this lead to the information of a convection current? When we heat a liquid, it expands. Expands means its volume is increased, and with the increase in volume, the density decrease. And because of the decrease in density, this hot liquid will move up. So the cold liquid will move down, and in this way, there will be a convection current. Now we check the option. Option A, the density of the heated liquid decreases. Yes, it is the correct option. With the expansion of the liquid, density decreases, and because of the decrease in density, this hot liquid will move up and the cold liquid will move down, and in this way a convection current will start to build up. So here this option is correct option. What is given in the other options? Option B, the density of the heated liquid increases. No, with the increase in volume, density will decrease because density is given as mass over volume. So option B is incorrect. Option C, the mass of the heated liquid molecule decreases. Option D, the mass of the heated liquid molecules increases. Mass always remains constant. Mass neither increase nor decrease. So C and D are incorrect. Correct option is option A. Question number 22. Which arrow on the graph shows the amplitude of the wave? Amplitude is the distance from the mean position to the peak position. Mean to peak position, it is represented by B. So here our correct option is option B. This D, the distance between two consecutive troughs, it is called wavelength. D is a wavelength. Here C is a half wavelength, and this A is 2 times of the amplitude. Here it is asked what is amplitude. So amplitude is represented in option B. So correct option is option B. Question number 23. In which situation is the wavelength of the wave change? Option A, light from the sun passing from air into water. Yes, it is the correct option. Wavelength of a wave changes when a wave enters from one medium to another medium. Here waves are entering from air to water. So here medium is changed. When medium is changed, wavelength is changed. So here correct option is option A. What is given in the other options? Option B, radio waves traveling from an Earth satellite to the moon. When radio waves traveling from an Earth satellite to the moon, these waves are traveling in vacuum. There is no change in the medium. So here there will be no change in the wavelength. So this option is incorrect. Option C, sound reflecting from a wall. When sound wave reflect from the wall, the medium is not changed. Medium remains same. So wavelength will remain same. Option C is also incorrect. Option D, water waves passing from a narrow gap. When water waves pass from a narrow gap, medium is not changed. Here this process, this phenomena is called diffraction. It is called diffraction, and in diffraction wavelength is not changed. Wavelength remains same. So option D is also incorrect. Correct option is option A. Question number 24. Scout P signals to Scout Q. He is Scout P and he is Scout Q on the other side of the valley by using a mirror to reflect the sunlight. Here he wants to reflect the sunlight. When a light reflects, it obeys the laws of reflection. Laws of reflection means the angle of incidence and angle of reflection always remains same. Now here what is asked? Which mirror position allows the sunlight to be reflected to the Scout Q? Here definitely the correct option is option A. Light waves are traveling in this direction. Here it is the light wave. It is in the same direction as shown in the option A. So when we place a mirror in this position vertically, when we place a mirror here, the light will be reflected like this, and it will reach to the Scout Q. If we If we keep the mirror like this, what will happen? The ray will be reflected like this and it will not move towards the scout cube. So this option is incorrect. In option C, the light wave will move toward this direction and it is not the direction of scout cube. So this is also incorrect. In D, light will be reflected. In D, it will be reflected like this. So it will not reach to the scout cube. Only in the option A, we have observed that when we place a mirror in a vertical position, the light will be reflected back and it will reach to scout cube. So here correct option is option A. Question number 25. The diagram shows the electromagnetic spectrum. The numbers indicate the approximate wavelength at the boundaries between the various regions of the spectrum. For a device to be able to make use of electromagnetic radiation, it needs an areal of approximately the same size as the radiation it is designated to work with. Which statement is correct? Option A. A mobile phone uses radiation from region P. Here at the boundary of this region P, it is given 1 meter, whereas mobile phone use a wavelength of 10 power minus 2 meters. So this option is incorrect. Option B. A television satellite dish uses the radiation from region Q. Yes, it is correct option. Television satellite uses microwave and microwave is in a region of Q. The wavelength of microwave is approximately 10 power minus 2 meter. So here it is in the range of Q. So this option is correct option. Option C. The receptor cells in an eye use radiation from region R. The receptor cells in the eye, they use visible spectrum, and for the visible spectrum the wavelength is in a range of 10 power minus 7 meters. Now here 10 power minus 7 meters is given in the range of S. Here it is given at the boundary of R 7 into 10 power minus 7 and at the boundary of S it is given 4 into 10 power minus 7. So here this S represents visible spectrum and here it is given R, so this option is incorrect. Option D. The remote controller of a television uses radiation from region U. Remote controller of a television uses infrared and the wavelength of the infrared waves is 10 power minus 4 meter. Here in U, the range is given in between 10 power minus 8 and 10 power minus 11 meter. So this option is also incorrect. Correct option is option B. Question number 26. A dolphin has a range of audible frequencies of 150 Hz to 150 kHz. Which range of frequencies can be heard both by humans with good hearing and by dolphins? Okay, what is the range by the humans? For the humans, it is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Now the minimum frequency that can be heard both by the dolphins and the humans, that will be 150 Hz. And the maximum frequency that can be heard both by humans and the dolphin, it will be equal to 20 kHz. So the minimum frequency that can be heard both by humans and dolphin will be 150 Hz and the maximum frequency that can be heard both by humans and the dolphins will be 20 kHz. So minimum frequency 150 Hz, maximum frequency 20 kHz, that is given in option D. So correct option is option D. Question number 27. A permanent magnet is placed close to a bar of soft iron. Here it is a permanent magnet, it is a soft iron. When we place a soft iron bar beside a permanent magnet, this soft iron bar will be magnetized. When it will be magnetized, what pole will be developed on this end? Here it is north pole, so definitely here will be south pole will be developed because opposite poles attract each other and same pole repel each other. So here on this end south pole will be developed because here on the permanent magnet it is north pole. Since here south pole is developed, so on the other end of this soft iron bar opposite pole north pole will be developed. So at P it will be south pole, at Q it will be north pole, at the end P south pole, at the end Q, it is North Pole. It is given in option C. So correct option is option C. Question number 28. Which metal is used for the core of an electromagnet? Electromagnet is a temporary magnet. For a temporary magnet we use iron, and for permanent magnet we use steel. So here for the electromagnet we have to use iron, and iron is given in option B. So our correct option is option B. In A it is given copper, in C it is given magnesium. Copper and magnesium are not magnetic material, so they cannot be used, and here in the option D it is steel. Steel is used for a permanent magnet, and here we are making a electromagnet that is a temporary magnet, so here we have to use iron. So correct option option B. Question number 29. The diagram shows a cell connected to three resistors R1, R2 and R3. It is R1, it is R2, it is R3. A student connects an ammeter first in position 1, it is position 1, then in position 2, then 3 and then 4. In which position does the ammeter show the current in R1? Current in R1 is the current that is entering at this end, at this point. So whatever be the current that enters in this R1 will be represented by the ammeter that is in position 1. Now the current that will enter in this R1, the same current will leave this R1. So if we connect an ammeter at this position, the reading in the ammeter at the position 2 will be same as the reading in the ammeter in position 1. Now here at this point the current is divided in two parts. Since here current is divided in two parts, so here if we connect an ammeter at this position 3, the current shown on this ammeter 3 will be less as compared to the current shown in the ammeter connected at position 1 and at position 2. Now what about the position 4? Whatever be the current enter in the circuit, the same current will leave the circuit. So the current at position 1 will be same at position 4. So current shown in the ammeter at position 1 will be same in the ammeter connected at the position 4. So current shown in position 1, position 2 and position 4 will be same. In position 3 it will be less. Now we check the option. In option A it is given 1, 2 and 4. So the current is same at position 1, 2 and 4. So correct option is option A. Question number 30. A plastic rod is rubbed with a cloth. The rod becomes positively charged. What happens to the plastic rod and what is the charge on the cloth? Here plastic rod is rubbed with a cloth. This rod becomes positively charged. Positively charged means electrons are lost by the plastic rod and these electrons are gained by the piece of the cloth. Since here electrons are gained by the piece of the cloth, so negative charge will be developed on the piece of the cloth. So here plastic rod is losing electrons and this cloth piece are gaining electron, and because of the gain of electron, negative charge will be developed on the piece of cloth. Now we check the option. Here it is given plastic rod. Plastic rod loses electron and charge on the cloth, it is negative. Negative charge is given in option C, and here plastic rod loses electron is also given in option C. So here correct option is option C. Plastic rod loses electron and the charge on the cloth will be negative. Question number 31. A student measures the potential difference across a device and the current in the device. Which calculation gives the resistance of the device? According to Ohm's law, potential difference is equal to current into resistance. V is equal to IR. If we have to calculate the resistance, so resistance will be equal to potential difference over current. Potential difference over current means potential difference divided by current. Potential difference divided by current is given here in option C. So correct option, option C. Question number 32. The diagram shows three identical resistors. 3 ammeters and a battery connected in a circuit. What is the order of the magnitudes of the readings on the ammeter from smallest to largest? Okay, here largest will be in ammeter 1. What about the ammeter 2 and ammeter 3? Here we have connected one resistor, here we have connected two resistor. Since here we have connected two resistor, means here resistance is more. Since here resistance is more, hindrance is more, so here current will be less. So the minimum current will be in ammeter 3 and maximum current will be in ammeter 1 and intermediate current will be in ammeter 2. Now we check the option. In option D, it is given smallest in ammeter 3, smallest in ammeter 3, largest in ammeter 1, largest in this ammeter 1 and intermediate in this ammeter 2. So here correct option is option D, smallest ammeter 3, intermediate ammeter 2 and largest ammeter 1. Question number 33. A student sets up this circuit. It is a circuit, here it is battery, it is thermistor and it is a bell. What is the purpose of the circuit? Option A, to allow a lamp to be made dimmer or brighter as required. It is not a lamp, it is a bell. So this option A is incorrect. Option B, to amplify the sound of a voice. For the amplification, we have to use an amplifier. We will not use a thermistor, so this option is also incorrect. Option C, to light a lamp in the dark. Here again it is given lamp, it is not lamp, it is a bell, so this option is incorrect. Option D, to sound a bell when the temperature rises. Yes, it is the correct option. When we increase the temperature, the resistance across the thermistor is decreased, and with the decrease in resistance across the thermistor, the current will be increased. When the current will be increased, this bell will start to ring. So here it is our correct option, to sound a bell when the temperature rises. Question number 34. The diagram shows two voltmeter P and Q connected to a potential divider. The sliding connection at point X is moved towards the top of the diagram. It is sliding connection. What happens to the reading on P and on the reading on Q? When this sliding bar is in the center, the voltage across this voltmeter P and this voltmeter Q will be same. It will be equal. If we move this sliding connection, this sliding bar in the upward position, if we move this one in the upward position, then the voltage across this voltmeter P will be decreased and across this voltmeter Q will be increased. If we move this sliding connection in the downward direction, then this voltmeter Q will show less voltage and this voltmeter P will have more voltage. Since here we are moving this sliding connection to the top, so here voltage in voltmeter P will be decreased and voltage across this voltmeter Q will be increased. Now we check the options. In option B it is given reading on P decreases, reading on P decreases and reading on Q increases. So here correct option, option B. Question number 35. Which statement about electromagnetic induction is correct? Okay, here we have a bar magnet. It is a solenoid, or we can say simply it is a conductor, it is a coil. When we move this bar magnet towards the coil, there is an induced EMF, and because of induced EMF there is a current. So when we move this bar magnet towards the solenoid, or if we move this bar magnet away from the solenoid, there will be induced EMF, there will be current. If we stop this bar magnet, if it is not moving, then there will be no more current. If it is moving slowly, then the induced EMF will be less and the current will be less. So here what we have observed, when we move this bar magnet faster, there will be more EMF and there will be more current. If we move this bar magnet slowly, then there will be less current, and if it is stopped, then there will be no induced EMF and there will be no more current. Second thing that we observe, that if we move this bar magnet toward the solenoid, if the current is in the right direction, then if we move this bar magnet in the opposite direction, then the direction of the current will also be reversed. Now go back to our question. Here in the option A, it is given a strong magnet that is held stationary near a stationary conductor causes a greater effect than a weak magnet. We have just observed that if the magnet is moving, then there will be induced EMF, there will be current. If the magnet is stationary, then there will be no more electromagnetic induction. So here magnet is strong or a weak. If it is stationary, there will be no effect. So this option is incorrect. Option B, the effect occurs when a magnet and a conductor are both moved with the same speed and in the same direction. If we are moving a magnet and a conductor with a same speed and in the same direction, then relative to each other, this magnet and the conductor are at rest. And when they are at rest, there will be no effect. Option C, the effect occurs when a magnet is moved away from a nearby conductor. Yes, it is correct option. We have observed then that when we move a bar magnet away from the conductor, there is a current, but the direction of the current is reverse. So this option is correct. The effect occurs when a magnet is moved away from a nearby conductor. What is given in the option D? The effect only occurs when a magnet is moved towards a conductor. When we move a magnet towards a conductor or when we move a magnet away from the conductor, there is an effect. But it is given here the effect only occurs when a magnet is moved towards a conductor. That's why this option is incorrect. So here correct option is option C. Question number 36. An electrical device changes the voltage of an electrical supply from 240 volt AC to 20 volt AC. What is this device? The device that we use to step up a voltage or to step down a voltage is called a transformer, and transformer is given here in option C. So our correct option is option C. Question number 37. In the atomic model, an atom consists of a central mass orbited by much smaller particles. What is the name of the central mass and of the orbiting particles? The name of the central mass, it is called nucleus, and the smaller particles that are orbiting are called electrons. Now we check the options. Central mass is nucleus and orbiting particle is electrons. That is given in option D. Central mass, nucleus, orbiting particles, electron. So here correct option is option D. Question number 38. A neutral atom of argon and a neutral atom of potassium are compared. Which atom has more electron and which atom has more protons? Here this 18, it is called proton number, and this 40, it is called nucleon number. Same thing for potassium. Here this 19, it is called proton number, and this 39 is called nucleon number. What is meant by proton number? Proton number means number of proton in a atom. And in a atom, number of proton and number of electrons are equal, they are same. In a neutral atom, number of proton and number of electrons are always same. So whatever be the number of protons in argon, same number will be the number of electron in neutral atom of argon. Since here number of protons are 18, so number of electron will also be 18. Here in potassium, number of protons are 19, so number of electron will also be 19. So here number of electrons and number of protons in potassium is more as compared to argon. And what is asked here? Which atom has more electrons and which atom has more protons? More electrons in potassium, more protons in potassium. More electrons in potassium, more protons in potassium. That is given in option D. So correct option is option D. Question number 39. Which statement about alpha particle and beta particles is correct? Option A. Alpha particles are less ionizing than beta particles. No, alpha particles are more ionizing than beta particles. So this option is incorrect. Option B. Alpha particles are more penetrating than beta particle. No, alpha particles are least penetrating out of three particles, alpha, beta and gamma. So here alpha particles are not more penetrating, it is less penetrating than beta particle. So this option is also incorrect. Option C. Alpha particles have greater mass than beta particle. Yes, it is correct option. Alpha particle has a mass that is equal to mass of helium nuclei, whereas mass of beta particle is equal to mass of electron, and mass of electron is much less as compared to mass of an helium nuclei. So here this option is correct option. What is given in the option D? Alpha particle have the same charge as beta particle. No, alpha particles are positively charged whereas beta particles are negatively charged. So this option is also incorrect. Question number 40. An explosion in a nuclear reactor spread the isotope cesium-137 across a large area. 90 years after the explosion, the quantity of cesium-137 present will be 12.5% of its original level. What is the half-life of cesium-137? Okay, in the beginning, what is the amount? There is 100% amount. Now after one half-life, what will be the amount? After one half-life, the amount will be half of this amount. Half of this amount means it will be 50%. Now after second half-life, what will be the amount? At the end of second half-life, the amount will be half of this 50%. Half of this 50% means 25%. Now at the end of third half-life, the amount will be half of this 25 means 12.5%. Now here it is given 12.5% and 12.5% represent 90 years. So 3 half-life is equal to 90 years. Here it is third half-life. Since here it is third half-life, so we can say at the end of third half-life it will be equal to 90 years. So 3 half-life is 90 years. What is first half-life, or simply we can say half-life? It will be equal to 90 over 3. 90 over means 30 years. 30 years is given in option C. So here correct option C. Okay, now we have completed this paper 1 variant 1 May June 18. Thank you very much.